जो वर्ल्ड गोल्ड काउंसिल से आते हैं और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है इस दिन पर उनको सुनना, क्योंकि बीते 24 घंटे में जो कुछ घटा है इस बुलियन मार्केट में उस पर सबसे करीब से अगर कोई नजर रख रहा है तो वो है वर्ल्ड गोल्ड काउंसिल। और वहां से हेड ऑफ रिसर्च प्रीति चाको जी को हम आमंत्रित करते हैं। मैम बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका। कविता चाको जी को हम लोग माफ कीजिएगा। कविता मैम बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पर।
Thank you for having me.
So, Kavita ma'am, my first question on budget. What is your first reaction on this budget? I hope you have read the minute detail about the budget. What is your first reaction?
So it's a very broadly positive budget. It is really growth focused. It's a long-term growth focused budget, as even your previous guests have all mentioned. It's a lot of focus on the manufacturing and service sector, ease of doing business, all of which is, focused towards the long-term growth. And all of this is while keeping an eye on the fiscal balance, on the fiscal math. So it's definitely positive on all those aspects. With regard to the gems and jewelry sector which I'm closely associated with, there were no major announcements there. Okay, there was everything in terms of the duty structure, everything remains the same. Yes. Okay. But otherwise, all the other sectors.
Okay, ma'am, my next question is what changed suddenly overnight for gold and silver? Big fall in gold and silver prices in just 48 hours. What do you think? What changed suddenly overnight?
Well, we can attribute a few reasons. It's not possible to know the exact reason, but a few reasons which we can attribute to is that there could have been some amount of profit taking because there was a sharp increase in price during the week. Okay, and there is also the dollar which strengthened on the last day, and some of it will also have to do with the nomination of the new Fed chair. These are some of the aspects which could have led to these movements. But what is worth noting is that even despite that correction, gold ended the week higher than what it was in the previous week, marginally higher. And for the month as a whole, the gains are close to 25%. So while some correction, such kind of pullback is healthy, because what we have seen is during such phases, you have a lot of long-term investors who come into the markets when there are some dips such as this. So, and some of the factors which have been, supporting gold prices still continue to be there. So we think this could be, a temporary pullback.
My question is related to gold, especially the recent fall and the ETF. Government seems visibly concerned about the rising gold imports. There was a lot of discussion on the sidelines that there might be some increase in import duty. Thankfully, that didn't come, but it seems that the current metrics of current account deficit as plus trade deficit, there's a conviction in the government that the gold and silver imports are rising unabated. Do you see something can be done by the government midway? Because there is an indicator, there's a one small indicator about making this gold frenzy control on the sovereign gold bond side, when the government has now put the tax that if you're buying a bond from secondary market, you'll have to pay tax on that. Do you see that we have reached to the level where government has to take some steps on that?
What I'd like to point out is that gold imports have not really risen that much. If you're looking at in terms of the volume of imports in 2025 was around 630 tons, whereas in 2024 it was 812 tons. So there's an over 20% decline in the volume of imports. In terms of the tonnage.
In the tonnage.
In tonnage terms, okay, it was close to 630 tons in 2025 and 812 tons in 2024. Yeah. And if you're looking at in terms of value terms, it's pretty much stable at around $58 billion. Increase when it comes to gold imports, import bill per se to be of such a concern. Because of the price rise, of course, you have seen that the volume has fallen. So I don't think that should be an area of too much concern.
My next question is: the World Gold Council is pretty strongly advocating for gold and silver investment into the financial products rather than the physical one, and there's a lot of initiative recently has taken. How do you see the sentiment is going forward by the ETF investors? Because I've seen huge ETF inflows in last 1 year in silver and gold, and they've been market winner. After this current crash, especially in the silver, do you think that this will reverse the momentum and people will start looking going back from the silver and gold ETF and start putting somewhere else? How do you see this entire crash will hit the momentum of ETF?
I can comment on gold. Okay, so what we have seen that there has been strong interest in gold from various investors in different forms, both in physical investment as well as in the paper products, financial products linked to gold. And as you rightly pointed out, ETF investments have seen strong interest and strong inflows, not just in India, but even globally. And sometimes it is these periods of dips that tend to attract long-term investors into the market. So we do see that as also a buying opportunity for many of them who have been on the sidelines and who probably would have been waiting for some correction.
Ma'am, budget says profit on gold bond bought from secondary market will be taxed now. How do you see this affecting investor? Do you really think in current time it is really affect the sentiment of the investor who is looking on gold bond investment actually?
See, there has been strong demand for SGBs in the secondary market because, people have realized the importance of having diversification or having gold in your portfolio. So, although that does tend to have some implication, but I don't think it would be significant because the gains would be higher. And plus, it's generally good to have, there's a lot of interest in having SGB as a part of your portfolio as it is.
Ma'am, we have not seen any direct promotion to the gems and jewelry sector in this budget, and off late with the rising price of the gold, the export is also having a challenge. How do you see that this entire jewelry trade, both ways, domestic and global export, are going to get some kind of support from these price corrections, and we'll see some recovery, some revival of demand internationally and domestically after this?
So what is surprising is that, despite the price increase, what our analysis has shown is that the spending on gold, jewelry, as well as gold investments, physical as well as the financial products has risen despite the price rise of last year. In fact, very recently, we released our gold demand trend reports, and there it is seen that global gold demand totaled around $555 billion, which was a 45% increase year on year. So, the demand for gold globally continues to be quite strong.
Ma'am, today we see there was no seller or no buyer some of our ETFs. There was only seller on those ETFs. What do you suggest to those investors who are continually investing in ETFs? Now they are seeing a sharp correction in ETFs like 60 or 70% in one day. What do you think what they should do? They should wait or they should sell their position?
We would advise that what we always say is that we never give advice on, any investment related advice per se in terms of the prices or when to enter or exit the markets. What we do say is that all investors should consider holding gold as a part of your portfolio from the long-term strategy perspective.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. Thank you so much to come on this platform.
Thank you.